The National Association of Graduate Teachers is taking its rejection of proposed educational reforms by the Ghana Education Service a notch higher. The association, which is fiercely opposed to the introduction of teacher licensing examinations, is demanding what it calls due diligence by the GES before the policy is rolled out. They held a press conference earlier today to press home their demands for transparency in the process in response to a notice served by the Ghana Education Service yesterday on the matter. Here is Vice President of the NAGRAT, Angel Carbonneau, calling for an immediate suspension of the policy for further stakeholder engagement.
For the sake of clarity, however, let me state that NAGRAT is neither resisting licensing and registration of teachers nor questioning the mandate of the National Teaching Council to do so. The above notwithstanding, we have issues with the procedure for the implementation of the policy and the subsequent repercussion thereof. We are the people who will go through the examination in whatever form it may come. We are the people to be licensed or denied license. We are the users of that so-called holy license. Should we not get our concerns addressed first? Quality education delivery is teamwork. So it becomes very surprising when some players arrogate every decision-making and activity in the education industry to themselves with impunity and turn around in mock surprise that we are asking questions. How can anybody think that the mere issuance and acquisition of a license is enough to bring about effective teaching and learning? Have we forgotten the wise saying that garments alone do not make a monarch? Please, let us make haste slowly and prudently. The main requirement for issuance of and renewal of license are capacity building workshops, in-service training, and continuous professional development. NAGRAT is gravely concerned as to how many of these workshops and training activities a teacher will require to have his or her license renewed. Again, there is the question of how much the training workshops will cost and who bears the cost. These questions have been asked by teacher unions and have been left hanging. If the cost associated with the
Well, who bears the cost? Teachers are expected to pay between 100 and 150 cedis for the licensing examination and 200 cedis for the license. So NAGRAT is questioning the basis for those monies to be paid.
Of a policy is left unaddressed. How can one expect those who may have to pay for it to embrace the policy? The National Teaching Council will do itself a lot of good if it comes out clear on the cost involved and those responsible for the payment. The position of NAGRAT is that since the National Teaching Council is a creature of government and the law, the government should be responsible in bearing the cost that will be associated with these programs. Another concern of teachers is the relationship between licensing and registration and job security for teachers. The continuous stay of teachers in the classroom depends on their ability to renew their license every now and then. The renewal of the license also depends on passing various tests, including ability to stay clear from disciplinary issues. An allegation leveled against a teacher is sufficient to deny him or her renewal of license. Once the license is not renewed, appointment is terminated. NAGRAT has concerns over the payment of non-refundable processing fee for the licensure exam. How was that figure arrived at? How can the National Teaching Council veto the payment of such money? We see this as a move to extort money from poor teachers as budgetary support for undisclosed intentions. We in NAGRAT strongly advocate for more stakeholder consultation on the implementation of the policy. We wish to assure everybody that once the right consultations are made, we'll do our best to ensure that the implementation of the policy succeeds. Anything short of the above will be met with brute force resistance. We wish to caution that A rush program is certainly destined to be a crashed program. Thank you.
The vice president of the NAGRAT. So it's a tall list being put out by the teacher unions, both NAT and NAGRAT. They want a broader stakeholder engagement. Let's get more on that issue. Acting Executive Secretary of the National Teachers Council is Dr. Evelyn Odro. She joins me on the line. Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time here on the show. The teachers are not very happy. They speak, in fact, they speak of bull force resistance, and I'm yet to know exactly what that means. But how far would you say that the NTC, for instance, as a stakeholder, has engaged all other stakeholders on this matter? We lost Dr. Evelyn Odro there, but we're still talking about the fact that the teacher unions in this country are unhappy about new policy that is expected to make them make them seek for licenses before they are able to teach in the classroom. The NAGRAT has spoken. In fact, they've been speaking the entire week about their disappointment about this. They speak of a bull force resistance, and like I said, I'm here to understand exactly what that means. So obviously, those who are going to be most affected are the students, which is why this matter requires a lot more attention. We're still trying to raise Dr. Evelyn Odro on the line. She is with the NTC so that we can understand the scope of the problem we're dealing with. The acting executive secretary of the NTC is Dr. Evelyn Odro. Like I said, I've been able to raise her back on the line. Hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time. Before I lost you, I was trying to find out the extent of engagement that the NTC, as a major stakeholder, engaged all of these other stakeholders, you know, one of whom had just spoken. Very disappointed.
Okay, thank you very much, and to your lovely listeners. The National Teaching Council began in 2 years ago. It was established by Act 778, and one function is to register and license teachers. Of course, we cannot do this without stakeholder engagement. NAGRAT, NAT, concerned teachers have been involved in every discussion that we have undertaken. We have never left them out of any discussion. The last time we met with them was 1st of August. We met with them. For 2 years, we have been battling with nomenclature of their ranks. For 2 good years, if they are saying they have not been involved, I will be very much surprised. They have been involved. NAT has even published the act in their diary for all of them to read about the act and the 3 bodies that have been established. One is the National Teaching Council. So this is not new. What I want to correct is that the hula baloo going on is not coming from the National Teaching Council. We have not put any information in the papers nor anywhere that we are going to examine teachers. Please, they should find the source of the information and address it accordingly.
What do you...
People are attacking the minister. Please, the minister has not done anything wrong.
Very well, but
please, they should address the issues very well. I am thinking that when they saw the article in the paper, what I was expecting as partners was to come back to us to ask us whether we have such plans. Nobody has come to us.
So the point you're making, ma'am, is that there's no plan to examine teachers, even though there's a plan to roll out the licensing regime.
That plan is there, but the council has not met to take a decision. So and we have not asked anybody to inform the public.
So today, the point they made, for example, is that let's hasten slowly. Is that a point that makes sense to NTC, for example?
That
that hasten slowly. They said that in principle they're not against licensing of teachers, but if you do that, take your time and roll it out slowly, having identified all the challenges, the likely challenges, and then you give us how you want to deal with it.
And of course, definitely, that is what we are doing, and that is what we will do.
So you think that they're jumping the gun?
There's something.
Do you think that they're jumping the gun? They're going way ahead of themselves, with this.
Well, I'm saying that the council will meet, and everything that teachers have to know will be, given to them.
Okay, hold on for me, ma'am. I have on the line Angel Carbono. He speaks for the NAGRAT. He's their vice president. Mr. Carbono, thank you very much for your time once again here on the show. I'm speaking to the NTC, and as far as we're concerned, there has been extensive stakeholder engagement, including your very good association. Why do you then put it out as though you have not been involved that much?
Well, read the newspapers and the media reportage that came out on Monday and Tuesday. And you will see how definite statements have been made, as if decisions have been concluded, and that this September the program is going to be rolled out en bloc. You just read the newspapers.
Well, having said that, you as a key stakeholder know the other stakeholders that you deal with in the course of your work. So have you, for instance, engaged the NTC after the newspaper reportage about whether or not this is definite?
Well, I did not ask anyone to go into the media to make definite statements. I thought we had a very respectable forum that we could all resort to when we are doing these issues. But when emphatic and conclusive statements are made ahead of even decisions that are supposed to be taken, that is where the problem is. Let me give you an example.
Okay.
Who authorized anyone to put into the media amount of money that are supposed to be paid? Who gave that authorization? Who also authorized anyone to get into the media to indicate the procedure of acquiring the license and the consequences that the licenses are not acquired? Who gave anyone that authority? It is certainly not me, because I don't work with the NTC.
Okay.
It only could come from the NTC.
Okay. Well, we're not far at all from the answer. I have the NTC's executive director, of course, on the line, so we can get a quick one from them. Ma'am, you've heard what he says. Certain details have gone out, details that they believe shouldn't have gone out, which is what gives them the impression that someone is trying to shortchange the teachers here, which is why they think that something wrong is going on. Could you please explain how details of information about fees and procedures, etc., got out there and which made it look like a definite decision has been taken?
Thank you very much. And this is what amazed me, because we have not even concluded about the fees, the procedures, and other things.
Okay.
So, well, this is a question myself and Angel should ask, and we should find out who is doing this.
Okay.
But whether it is signed by the chairman of the National Teaching Council, I don't know.
Okay. So you don't have an...
The first thing I read, I saw the former secretary's name. I don't know whether it is true or not.
Okay.
And I'm here to find out. So we all have to find out and take our time, because we are not at war. We've had a very peaceful discussion on the 1st of August. So if there is something in the news, please let us all find out, take our time, and find out who is doing this.
Okay.
Whether the person has been sent by the minister or the NTC, let's find out. But I don't think we have asked anybody to do something on our behalf.
The information has been out there.
For the council to meet.
The information has been out there, and the NAGRAT, of course, has also been speaking. Has the NTC, if the NAGRAT didn't come to you, has the NTC engaged either the NAGRAT or the ministry about this information that's out there, which obviously doesn't augur well for both relationships?
Yes, we have, and we are taking steps. At the appropriate time, we will come up.
So what's the response that you got from the ministry? Because, I mean, just so everybody understands what the issues are and what the problem really is, so we can solve it.
Yes, and this is what I'm telling you, that because I was away, I'm now coming back from Kumasi. So we will sit down and with my chairman, and we have to meet again with the union.
Okay.
And whatever it is, we will discuss.
Okay. Mr. Kabonu, this sounds like an answer that should suffice, does it?
Well, we have not broken engagement with the NTC. As far as I was concerned, as at 1st August, we were moving very positively.
Okay.
Until such a time that news started coming out, our members started indicating to us that certain decisions have been taken, and if it were not true, how come it is in the media, and so on and so forth. And in fact, there were even quotations that I was so shocked were able to be released to the media.
Okay.
That means that the NCC will have to look into itself. Because look, they are in the primary stage of a very important exercise. And in such important exercise, if you are not too careful, you start letting out issues into the media, it could truncate an otherwise positive agenda that you may have. For example, for somebody to give a grant interview to a media house indicating that because of this license, teachers will be dealt with and that those teachers who, so you intimidate the teachers already. You put fear into the teachers before you start rolling out a license regime.
Okay.
What reaction do you expect?
Mr. Kabonu, well, it appears that because one of the fears that a lot of Ghanaians will have will be that when you describe, for instance, that it's going to be met by brute force resistance, then Ghanaians begin to fear for their children who are in school. Because if you do this, that when two of you clash, is a student who suffers. So hopefully... No.
If you read that statement well, the statement indicated that in the absence of consultation and engagement.
Right.
That's what the statement read.
So the point I was going to make with that is that, well, the NTC, as we've just had the executive secretary speak, are still engaging you. So hopefully from here, there should be an amicable solution. Would you say?
Well, I don't know. I don't know whether they still see us as partners because of what has happened in the media.
Dr. Odro,
they are going over our heads and putting issues into the media.
Dr. Odro, from what he's saying, the quick one because of our time. From what he's saying, what's your response?
My response is that Angel should exercise patience, calm his members down, and lay any fear. Because NTC has not and will not do anything which will disturb teachers.
Okay.
So we will sit down again and all the other things, the grievances will be discussed.
Okay.
And when we meet, we will also come out and clear the air. But this is not coming from NTC.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am, for your time. Mr. Kabonu, this works, doesn't it?
Oh, well, I'm happy she says it is not coming from NTC.
Great.
Then we have to find out who is leaking the information.
Well, perhaps just solve the problem and let teaching, continue smoothly. But thank you very much for your time here on the show. Angel Kabonu speaks for NAGRAT, Executive Secretary for the National Teaching Council, Dr. Evelyn Odro, two of them speaking about that issue there. Hopefully there won't be any clash and students or pupils won't have to suffer for it.